Hey, have you ever had those days where you're physically exhausted? You can't even hardly pick up your arms, and you're looking at the calendar and you're looking in your bread cupboard and you're going, I've got to make bread today and I am too tired. I've got you covered in this training. Or perhaps you've had a bad day and maybe you sprained your wrist just a little bit. It happens. Don't try to hurt yourself. Instead, pull out your heavy-duty kitchen mixer. Now, there is a word of warning with this training. Do not do this with a lightweight kitchen mixer. It will burn it up. You don't want to burn your machine up. You do have to have a good quality, heavy-duty kitchen mixer to do this recipe and this method, to do this method with. So, I personally am a huge fan of KitchenAid. This is what I use in my own home, and I totally support you if you pick a different brand. There are many quality brands out there. So I'm not promoting, this is just what I use. So, there are a couple things that you need to know about using a mixer. So first of all, there's this little switch. Now, depending on your model and your make, all of this is going to vary a little bit, but you will have these same features on yours. So you have an unlock and you have a lock setting. When it's in the lock setting, you cannot lift this up, and it's there for your own safety. It's also there so that when you are making your breads in your mixer, or you're doing any kind of a heavy-duty mixing, that this isn't going to be going like this the whole time. If it's unlocked, this is what's going to happen. It's going to start doing this until it finally pops all the way out, and then it's a hazard. So that hook, oh, bad. You don't want that to happen. Next, you've got your speed indicator over here. Work this up slowly. Start on your lower speeds, and then you use your ears, my dear, and kick your machine up as you can hear the motor when it's starting to get stressed. If it's getting stressed, you need to kick the speed up. This is the hook that you must use for mixing dough. This is a dough hook. My particular one already has a small dough sleeve. So that is this little round attachment part up here on the top. So I don't actually have a different dough sleeve, but I wish I had one that was bigger. Because when you're making bread with your mixer, this little sleeve isn't big enough. And what it does is, because your dough is going to work up your hook, and it's going to work up and work up and work up, and then pretty soon it gets bound up here in your moving parts. It's a nightmare to clean. So that's what you need to know. All right. So in today's training, we are using the quick no-fail recipe. Let's dive straight into the training. What you need to do very first is pull out your big saucepan, and you need to add all of your fats, add all of your honey, and add all of your buttermilk. And you're gonna scald it on low to medium low heat for about 2 minutes. Make sure that you are constantly whisking it during that time, because you don't want to accidentally burn your buttermilk. Remove 1.5 cups of the buttermilk to a measuring cup and set it aside to cool. Make sure you remove your pan from the heat, and let's get going with adding all of your dry ingredients to your mixing bowl. At that point, when you have everything in, then you're going to go back and start checking temperatures on your pan of buttermilk and your cup of buttermilk. When the cup of buttermilk reaches the temperature of 120 to 130 degrees to start adding your yeast to the mix. Add the molasses and mix it up good and set it to the side.
All right, we're going to slowly start adding our yeast mixture in first, followed by the pan of buttermilk. I like to pour it into my measuring cup and add little by a time so I can continually go through and work the sides back down because my bowl for my mixer is actually a little too small for this. Just remember, as you do go to work the sides down of your dough, that you always turn it off first because you do not want to accidentally have your hands or a spoon or something catch that hook while it's spinning around. Take your dough out from time to time, flip it upside down, and give it a little dusting of flour. And you're going to continue to do this for about 7 minutes until the dough is finally finished. After which we're going to switch over to our counter and we are going to do a knead roll into a big long log shape where we're going to grease our pans and we're going to cut our loaf into 3 loaves, roll and grease inside our pans, and little help is always welcome for this process. And we are ready to set this to the side in a nice warm place, covered, and let it raise to just above the top of the pan. This particular method will fall if you try to over raise it. So quickly just gently press a little finger into the dough if you're not sure if it's ready. And if the indent remains, it's ready to start baking. As you can see, this dough is just over the top of the rim of this pans. We're going to bake these at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. And then we're going to drop the temperature down to 380 and bake for an additional 15 minutes.
Congratulations, my friend. You just made bread using a mixer. How amazing is that? And this bread is so yummy tasting. Oh my gosh. It's absolutely delicious and it quickly has become one of my favorite go-to recipes. Even though I designed this one for you, I think I truly have fallen in love with it. Until next week's training, my friend, we will see you then. If you have any questions or comments, please make sure to drop them down below in the comments.